confirmed anything really.
Ah, there we go. I just had to refresh. But yeah, it looks like they did change their plan. So watch your next month, JJ, in case they change it. But anyway, that was weird.
Okay, but you're good now.
Yeah,
You
I'm
getting that
all
right?
yeah, I'm all good. I'm
Okay.
definitely all good. Shoot, I just freaking got broken by 3 hours of AEW for the
Yeah,
love
we
of
did.
wrestling drives my soul and it's my euphoria. It's what is literally injected in my veins. We went all out literally a weekend and a half ago, and here we stand now, freaking 14 days later, going all out. So let's freaking go, folks. Yeah, sorry about that,
Sounds
folks.
good to
Technical
me.
difficulties. Yeah, about to say technical difficulties aside, but hell, I'm still gonna do this, guys. It's tradition because I'll be damned if I don't. Because I look at AEW, I look at TNA, I look at Ring of Honor, I look at WWE, I look at NXT, I look at NJPW, I look at Pro Wrestling Noir, I look at Stardom, I look at Marigold. Why do I name all these promotions so much more of independent wrestling NWA? Because I truly do encompass and enjoy all things wrestling. So without further ado, let's freaking go and get right into this. Hello, folks, and welcome once again to another straight on nowhere, technical difficulties aside, ATW View Impromptu. You know what this is, for I am the simple man of the simple brand, the voice of the simple brand itself, and now known as maybe a name play, the Reliable Network. I'm just Noah Foster. I'm happy to be alive and just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling all the time. And once again, we're back here literally just less than 2 weeks outside of going all in. And now we freaking go all out. Because for the first time, this impromptu is simply put a city predicting crossover special too. So let's go ahead and do this. With me tonight on this special impromptu city predicting is my brother, who's been Ollie since day zero like me, the Ollie bruv, KING King. And with me, as always, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. Gentlemen, good to see you on this Friday Eve as we record here, 11:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A little bit shy of about 21 hours away from AEW All Out. Of course, that'll be on Driller TV, Bleacher Report, whatever you get your pay-per-views from. That starts Saturday, December 7th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 0 hour, 8 p.m. pay-per-view start time. Before we get right into it, AJ, welcome back to the ATW View Impromptu as we've crossed the predicting over women for the first time ever too. This should be nice and simple. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you welcoming me back. It's always good to be doing streams or videos, whatever we want to call this, since this is actually a taped event. It's always good to be doing stuff with It's always good to be able to collaborate with the King here.
Absolutely. Again, I love doing this with you guys, whether it's 2, 3, 6, or 9. Doesn't matter. Wrestling all the time. And of course, we got the Saturday Night Shenanigans hosted by you very shortly after we do, of course, our AEW All Out. Make sure I get the words right. All Out watch along on the Reliable Network, where I believe it'll be you, me, and James on the call. And I think Walter is producer man. So I'm sure we'll figure out all the details later, as we always do. And
I
always,
think it'll just be you and James, or you, Walter, and James for the beginning, because I do work until roughly, we'll say about 6 o'clock Pacific time, so 9 o'clock Eastern time. So probably about through the first hour, I won't be around, but I'll definitely join in once I get home and hop into things. But
I look forward to it. And King, we just got through our impromptu watch party, 2 watch parties in 1 week. We're crazy. We just got through our watch party of Collision and Rampage after doing Diamond as well, because again, we're truly all elite for life. How you feel about All Out come tomorrow night?
Buckle up, folks. Buckle up, because I have a feeling that once again on paper, All Out is shaping up to be better than All In, just about this much. That much.
I mean, again, with the amount of personal animosity driven in some of these stories and the vengeance being seeked by multiple people, a couple of people that literally will be unsanctioned, you very much might be onto something. And also, this pay-per-view is single digits in overall match number, including the main card.
What so far
right now? Stop it! You stop jinxing it. What world are we living in so far? I'm just saying. But without further ado, as again I said, I'm going to keep this impromptu, short, sweet, and simple because it's limited in crossover. Quick shout out, of course, as is tradition, to the ATW fam, including but not limited to our cleaner Mary J. Continues to prove that J is more than gold across the pond. Cheers to you, my friend. Preacher Man, Casey Flynn, our enforcer, Lex, game designer, game programmer, game tester, competitive esports gamer, Jose, Josh, Indie Darling, SC, Chanel, a social media guru of her own right, as well as content creator and ring correspondent down in her area. So cheers to her as always. Our inquirer, Eric Brown, protect your mentality, brother. Just saying.
Yes, bro.
ATW fam, as I always do. As far as I'm concerned, JJ, you are definitely ATW, and we love you and welcome you to the family. Without further ado, fam, let's get right into it. Usually we talk about all things wrestling, but again, we literally are removed 9 days since the last impromptu. And truth be told, we've had a lot of shows, but again, I told us that we're going to keep it simple. We got a long Saturday night ahead of us, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. There was one match made official for the 0 hour that has big money implications, call whatever you will. And for those that don't know and you don't want to watch till after you catch up on your DVR, I totally respect that. Please watch this later. But thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, tell a friend, as we will be providing spoilers for Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision. And we might even subtly touch on, as I do like impromptu breaks, talking about all things wrestling when it comes to NXT, TNA, and Ring of Honor, etc. Not to mention, as I host the All the Prediction League, the forum will be live on my YouTube channel and social medias, and also in the comments section once this video, of course, is seen by you. So there you go. So first off, to those that don't know, we had 3 hours tonight of live action, Collision and Rampage. It rounded out the card, and it actually did add a match for the 0 hour. A triple threat trios match, a very unique dynamic. You have Top Flight, Action Andretti, Dante Martin, and Darius Martin versus Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Roderick Strong versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Of course, about Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, and Impromptu, the Beast Mortals. The only thing involved here is big money implications. Now, the last time I heard big money, there was $300,000 on the line in a Three Wise Kings Battle Royale. But this is a straight-up triple threat trios match, and the winner apparently is going to get a huge payday. Not much more to be said. You got two teams that are Ring of Honor, eccentric, and then you have the AEW Ring of Honor hybrid kind of across two teams as well. The weirdest thing here is Beats Mortals and Shane Taylor. Can they coexist? That being said, we also know Top Flight, when it comes to getting big money, they know how to strike it rich. JJ, with knowing nothing, but you know the people involved here, who do you think gets paid?
I think that Shane Taylor and the Beast Mortos will not be able to coexist. I think that the Undisputed Kingdom has kind of had their time. Like, unfortunately, the gimmick was dead on arrival because Adam Cole, Bebe, the devil himself, was injured and unable to really front the stable as they had originally planned.
Yeah.
The angle is gone for almost an entire year now, with him making a handful of appearances at best. I just think that it's time to put them out to pasture, take Old Yeller behind the woodshed, put them out of their misery. My money is on Top Flight.
Fair enough. I mean, again, Top Flight, they know what to do in these trios affairs when big money is on the line. And with their new look, by the way, and also their stewardess, Layla Gray, in their corner, I'm pretty sure she'll know how to guide driver control to make sure there is a clean, safe landing on the runway to victory. That being said,
maybe it's just me, and I know we'll probably get into this next week when we do Victory Road, but I'd rather fly Top Flight than first class.
Amen. I'll even fly Comfort and Coach on Top Flight's airlines than I ever will on that other guy's freaking airfare. I'll tell you that much. That being said, we'll talk a little more about that here in a moment.
Tell us how you really feel, Noah.
Maybe a different day. King, what's your thoughts on this triple threat trios match with big money implications? Who gets paid?
First off, like JJ said, the Beast Mortos and Shane Taylor Promotions will not get along because Beast Mortos will go rawr a lot. I mean, that's all he says on Twitter is rawr and grr. Second of all, I got Top Flight winning, and if they win, and when they win this big money implication, Get rid of them damn uniforms. Go back to the your original uniforms that y'all had. Just keep the outfit on Layla Gray. That's it. That's it.
Oh, come on.
Looking like Soul Plane. I don't need Soul Plane on AEW. I don't need that.
That's a good movie. When I was once a wee lad, I watched that movie.
Soul Plane is garbage.
It was funny.
Soul Plane is garbage. Soul Plane killed Kevin Hart's career for like 5 years before he was able to come back and bounce back from that shit.
Really?
Tell me I'm lying, King.
I thought it was hilarious.
He's not lying. He even came out and said that he's not lying.
I saw the movie like in 2015.
Maybe it's just me, King. I don't know about you, but when I hear Top Flight, I think Top Flight Security of the World, Craig.
All right. But you all spoke your piece. So either way, we're still going along with Top Flight for the win.
Just saying. I think Top Flight Security, Craig.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I understand that reference. And again,
good.
I was a different lad at one point, but that's a
so,
whole different.
So once when Noah was a wee lad, he watched Friday After Next and Soul Plane. Hey, Friday After Next makes my Christmas viewing every year. Every year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen all the Fridays. So
good man. Good man.
Again, when I was once a wee lad. All right, well, let's go ahead and move into our opener.
What about you? Who do you got here?
Oh, I got Top Flight. You kidding me?
Okay.
Dude, I've been with Dante Martin and Darius Martin ever since those two brothers came into AEW with the addition of Action and Freddy and the mentorship of Leah Rush back in the fray. And now they have Layla Gray as a stewardess, but an interesting addition to this crew to see what she could learn and bring to the presentation too. I definitely am all in on Top Flight. So I think Top Flight.
I agree with you. Ever since I first saw them in AEW TV, I was like, these guys are something special.
And brothers, by the way, too. And brothers that should be AEW World Tag Team Champion contenders. Maybe they could fight the Blackpool Combat Club. We get double champions here. Let's go ahead and kick this off as the opener because I think it's fitting that the tag titles are opener because usually that just seems to be the case. An impromptu challenge. It is the Young Bucks, Matthew Nicholas Jackson defending the gold against Blackpool Combat Club, 2/3 of the trios title holders, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Simply put, King, you know this match was literally made based on the fact they called their dumb butts out on Wednesday night after Bryan Danielson was almost assaulted again by that scapegoat, Jack Perry, after the Elite claimed they will do absolutely anything to bring the AEW World Championship back home to the Elite. Now, that being said, Bryan Danielson, he doesn't travel alone either. And he's got the Trios champions as backup. Now, everybody on all sides under an insane 8-man all-star tag team warfare finished out Collision and crossed over into Rampage with Wheeler Yuta picking up the win, might I add, on Nicholas Jackson. Now we head towards All Out, where we wonder if the Elite will remain all with gold and add gold to it or finally lose some from it. That being said, King, I start with you because, again, we talk about being AEW since day zero, but you've truly been all elite, the elite, the elite, the original elite since Bullet Club days. Too sweet. So where do you stand with this tag title match?
I mean, when Claudio and Wheeler made the challenge, because we had to get a tag team title match out of this because, the Bucks have been living up to the gimmick of being part-time champions. I mean, don't believe me, go check out their Twitter. They played up the fact. Of course, they're trying to, get their dates in and get their contract in, contract dates in there, whatever they negotiate or whatever. So I expect nothing less. Of course, it had to be Chicago of all cities. I mean, of course, the history with them in Chicago. I mean, it's no secret.
The point of my background is I got the Metro. Continue.
Exactly. Young Bucks going to retain here, folks. It's simple as that. I mean, of course, we're going to get a banger of a match with Claudio and Wheeler with the Young Bucks, but by hook or by crook, and I have a feeling in this case by crook, even though I have to put my boys out like that, but it's true. They're going to retain the tag team titles because GYV is waiting down the line after they get done with FTR.
Yeah, and we'll see who grits the teeth. Talk more about that during a bit of impromptu catch-up I'll do. That being said, I respect you, by the way, for being honest with what they are. And as JJ and I says, incredible ring athletes, questionable human beings. Not that I judge, because I have no right to. But based on what I've seen and heard, just saying. Well, JJ, anything further to add?
I completely agree with where the King's coming from. Short and sweet. I also feel that by defeating the BCC, they will weasel their way to a trios title match. I still see the Bucks and Okada more than likely getting the trios titles in addition to the tag team titles.
Oh, good Lord.
Plus, that way, when they meet the GYV, they can dump the regular tag belts and still have gold.
Yeah, that's fair. And Okada is a notorious, never open weight, 6-man tag team champion alongside of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tomohiro Ishii for the better part of over 200 days. Arguably the greatest trios champions in New Japan wrestling history since Chaos, Yoshihashi, Rokugoto, and Ishii. So that's a fair point. And we also know that the Bucks are former trios champions as well with Kenny, by God, Omega, before losing them to the House of Black, where they became the most notorious trios champions in AEW history. And still are.
And unfortunately, I was there when they won those trios titles.
You were there at the Best of 7 series when the Elite won them off Death Triangle. That's right, in Game 7.
Yep.
The Fabulous Forum. What a wild match. And now again, Fox is a trios champ with Beppo Combat Club. Boy, is the world weird. That being said, yeah, I agree with both of you. When it comes to these tag titles, the Elite are going to do whatever it takes to hold on to them. Low blow, just like they did FTR to escape with the titles at the belt to face back at All In. I expect both these teams to go all out because we know what Claudio Castagnoli is capable of. And with a Yuta who pinned one of the Bucks, you know he's going to be prime target for Mafia Nicholas Jackson. I got to go with the Elite in this case, still holding the tag team titles hostage, as much as I hate to say it. But hey, they're in more action as of late, it seems, and got more challengers towards them than other tag teams I can name. But I'm not going to do a game of this versus that because I'm not like that. I just watch all things wrestling.
Yeah. And you know the way they say, you know, whoever comes out on top on the go home usually gets defeated at the big show. If Wheeler Yuta pinned Nicholas Jackson, then you got to figure that the BCC's going down at the big show.
And
they have their moment here tonight.
Yeah, in some capacity, because again, champions advantage. All right. Well, that was short, sweet, and simple. I'll tell you what's not going to be short, sweet, and simple when it comes to the fact that I can't wait to say blank, blank, effing wins, which seems to be the consistent formula for one person in this company, Brawl. Let's go ahead and talk about the AEW International Championship as Will Ospreay, who restored the international glory, beating MJF at All In, defends the gold against the Boston Pac. As Pac has already dropped this man on his neck twice. Poison Rana on the stage, and this past Wednesday on Dynamite, Brainbuster backstage on stage crates. We have not seen Will Ospreay at all tonight in action, but of course, Pac was part of that 8-man All-Star. Not to mention that Pac was also, I believe, involved in action on Wednesday night against Conglomeration and Will Ospreay, where really this whole thing exploded in the first place. The bottom line here, though, when Pac first came in AEW at this stage, All Out 5 years ago, he beat Kenny Omega. He was also the first man to hold and define this title and wrestle with it across the UK. When it was initially called the All-Atlantic Championship. Now he's got a chance to become two-time AEW, now called International Champion. And apparently Will Ospreay, he has not forgotten about Pac, despite what Will Ospreay's run has been as of late, because this is not their first time ever encountering each other. Last time they faced each other was to a 30-minute draw on the Independence. He's seen Pac. He knows what Pac's capable of, but maybe he thinks Pac is a little bit forgotten and self-conscious about himself. And look at Pac's track record this year. It's hard to argue. But here he is, the Trios champion, and the bastard become, once again, a double champion. It wouldn't be the first time. That being said, I look at this match and I figure about it like this. The International Championship is all about defining yourself globally. And we got two of the greatest people out of the UK right now contesting for this title. But Will Ospreay, he just won it back. And when he before came to AEW, he wanted a title that he could take, defend, and define globally. This title allows him to do that. And after what we saw with Dynasty and Forbidden Door, he doesn't need to go be after any other titles right now. And I don't think we need to pick up history with a former mentor, friend, now enemy that he used to work with in New Japan Pro Wrestling and feud with too. I think the All Elite Prof is going to retain some way, somehow, but I expect the Will Ospreay is going to be dropped a lot on his head and neck. It's going to be very risky, but it's hard to argue ever when you're seeing Will Ospreay. I got Will Ospreay retaining. JJ, what about you?
This one, believe it or not, is kind of difficult for me to call. I mean, it should be plain as day, go with the All Elite Bruv. But I also look at the other side of the coin and like, Ospreay deserves bigger than this championship.
It's fair.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if that's the Continental title and going after Okada. I don't know if it's the TNT title and going off against the Scapegoat. I don't know if it's the World title and going off against the American Dragon. But I feel like this title is the equivalent of Will Ospreay holding the 24/7 championship. Like, it is so far beneath him. I get where you're coming from and his desire to take a title globally and defend it and help establish it. And the fact that he can go back to his homeland and have matches over there and visit family. Like, I get all that, but I feel like he's levels above this title. I don't know if the Bastard is levels above this title, though. Like, the highest I could see him going would be the TNT title, but I couldn't see him breaking through to be the world champion. And he could do all the same things. He's already done all the same things, taking it globally, defending it at other companies and other countries and stuff.
Right.
So I'm really kind of back and forth about this one. I'm going to go with Ospreay for now. But I know you'll have the cutoff where I can change it up until 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. So you'll probably do 3 and 6 just to give that half hour to try and change forms if needed. I know I've got that time if I do decide to change my mind, but go ahead and put me down for Ospreay for now.
I got you. You know I don't make anything official until that form is officially deadlocked. And that's why I always ask people to fill out the form, because you never know if you will second guess yourself, me included. But King, someone in me right now just feels like Will Ospreay, despite, the 24/7 reference, this title is far more viable than that. He's defending against everybody possible in and out of AEW when he last had it. Let's not forget, he's literally had matches defending this championship against all likes and walks of life internationally in AEW. It wasn't until MJF came into play, though, an American citizen, that took it from him and defied the American championship in his own scumbag way, and he made him pay for it with a Tiger Driver 91 in Wembley. Someone tells me right now with the Family Got Wrestle Dream coming up, Full Gear, Continental Classic, and Wrestle Dynasty, this would be one hell of a way to come back with a homecoming with this title in hand and seeing who steps up and challenges him. Maybe somebody from New Japan Pro Wrestling. That being said, maybe I'm just thinking too far ahead out here. I'm not Christopher Ross. I'm not trying to take this into an hour and 45 minutes. God bless you, brother. But sometimes you fantasy book what you just simply predict. Chris, that being said, Chris, keep doing what you're doing on social media. Take care of your family, and I'll see you soon on Simply Predicting. Please follow Christopher Ross, folks. King, what do you think about this? Right now, it's 1-1 because I do think that Ospreay is going to retain, but I think Brock is going to damage his neck even more.
As Will Ospreay alluded to, I mean, he's the condition of his neck after he got brain busted on some steel crates when Dynamite went backstage on that this past Wednesday night. It's all about the condition of Will Ospreay and that neck. And of course, Pac went to target on that with that poison rana on top of the ramp with a sneaky bastard just leaning, like walking on up with the little stare off of the tease that we had of Will Ospreay and Ricochet.
Yep.
So, of course, with Pac going to target the neck of Ospreay, of course, that might take away, the effectiveness of the Stormbreaker that he likes to use sometimes here and there. But, yeah, I got Ospreay retaining, and something tells me after he beats Pac, we might get that match down the road because, like JJ said, Will Ospreay is above the international title, which I have a feeling there's a reason why they had that little tease between them two for a reason. Because if Ospreay retains, then we might get the rematch that everybody's been dying for down the line.
Yep. Ricochet, waiting in the wings.
Exactly.
Yeah, Wrestle Dream is on the horizon. I think Dream might have more implications this year than it did last year. I'm just saying. All
Yep,
right.
I got Osprey retaining.
All right. Good stuff. Well, let's go ahead and move things forward. We will switch things over to the women's side and we will start to see if you still invest in the CEO or if the CEO goes bankrupt. Because let's go ahead and talk about round 2 for the TBS championship, as it will be the Shining Samurai, the ace of AEW, the former 3-time AEW Women's World Champion, looking to make history to be the first one to hold the AEW Women's World and TBS Championship. Hikaru Shida taking on Mercedes Moné. And Camille, oh, wait a minute. I almost forgot. And JJ didn't notice this. Ta-da! After what happened last time, the Yakuza had a business strategy and a talk with Christopher Daniels, and Daniels agreed that the only reason Monet is virtually champion was because of her insurance policy. So to make sure this is more legitimate, fair, and square, Camille's been banned from ringside. As of tonight, we did see the Shining Samurai Carl Shida go one-on-one with Virtuosa. Dion Purrazzo, damn good game effort, follow-up from the OM when they first encountered each other. But once again, that katana hit, and Shida right now goes into tomorrow night with momentum. But Monet thought she could pull a fast one, find a loophole, use Camille tonight for a sneak attack. Didn't work out, as Shida stood tall in the end. And it looks like that Monet, maybe she has a plan. Maybe she has more to add to Monet Incorporated. We'll see. I'm just saying, maybe there will be some renegades running about. We'll have to wait and see. But that being said, Shida, who again has came back here to fight and remind everybody exactly why she is the ace of the AEW women's division. So much of me right now wants this so damn badly. But I'm not starting this. King, hey, you're elite. Good luck, bro. You know that she's in bed with them. The figuratively, folks. The figuratively. Mercedes Moné again, who of course has held successfully the Indian Strongman Champion, being Momo Watanabe at Capital Collision, and of course last defended the TBS Championship, as we know, against Erica DMD, who's not been seen since at AEW. All in. Now we go all out, and it's her versus Shida round 2. And last time, many believe the only reason she retained was because of Camille at one point. So where do you stand this? Does the result remain the same?
For y'all, it's unfortunate, but for me, I still invest. The CEO is going to retain the TBS championship because you just said it, bro. She probably has a couple of renegades waiting in the wings to on standby because let's not forget, Camille is banned from ringside, but that doesn't stop Mercedes to stop planning on Monet Corporation. You're going to need at least a few more if you want to start a corporation. And last time I checked, Mercedes has Monet Corporation. Yes, Sheeta will give her a test, like the first real test on her title defense, but the CEO retains by a certain set of twins involved in the mix.
What I wouldn't give for this Yakuza, though, to take the head off this ratchet. Just saying. But as much as I hate to try and disagree, I'm going to try and actually proceed with my mind versus my heart and say that I agree with you that she will retain too. There's something about this Monet Incorporated where it almost feels like we've been clamoring for a women's blood and guts. If this Monet inflated ego business strategy, bigger and more egotistical and corrupted than Donald Trump, comes to fruition, we might see more than just the words "you're fired" sharing that ring amongst the AEW women's division down the line. But that being said, I do agree with you that Monet will retain. Hi, JJ. What's your thoughts on this?
Hi guys.
Hi,
Hi guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um BOO BOO BOO.
Well, that being said,
Sadly, I agree with everything King said. Now, granted, I don't know a whole lot about the Renegade Twins. I've seen them once or twice.
right.
But Noah, you've been preaching for a minute about them aligning themselves with Mercedes. And if Camille is banned from ringside, this is the perfect time to do it.
Yep.
Because Camille won't be the one getting in trouble doing the run in, doing the dirty deeds. No. Oh my God, it's the Renegade Twins. They're here to help Mercedes.
Yeah, but which one is it? Is it Charlotte or is it Robin? And will you be able to tell the difference? And again,
It's both.
Right. Would you be able to tell the difference?
Hey,
It'd be
gotta
both.
say.
Don't really matter.
are you going to spend the
I got it. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
But yeah, I'd love for Sheeta to win, but let's be real. I don't know what their long-term plan is with Mercedes, because for me, my money match, and I think it already happened. I could be wrong.
Go for it.
Because I know Mercedes doesn't wrestle all the time. She wrestles about as much as the Young Bucks do. But my money match is Mercedes versus the Virtuosa.
Yes, it has not happened yet.
One of the four faces of the WWE versus the former face of the Knockouts division. That is my money match. And I want the Virtuosa to tangle her up like a pretzel to the point where you need both Jacksons to try to untwist her.
Jeez.
Goodness.
And yeah, that's a bunch of salt I just sprinkled on that pretzel.
Jada's on fire with the food analogies, but I'll also say this. Long may the Virtuosa, Diana Perazzo, fucking reign! And I love that.
The other thing that I'd love to see, and I know it's not going to happen. But God damn it, I would drop every dollar that I don't own to fly to said arena to watch this happen. Let Izzy Moreno be the one to take that off of her for all the back trauma that Sasha Banks caused her during the NXT run.
Oh my gosh.
How poetic would that be?
Yes.
To have Izzy Moreno, the Bayley superfan, dethrone Mercedes Moné for the TBS title.
Wrestle Dream. If we can make it happen, Wrestle Dream. I'm just saying that would be the biggest dream come true for either.
Or if they ever do another residency, I mean, hell, all in next year is going to be in Texas.
That is true. And you're going there.
And if Mercedes can hold the title for that long, which granted, I don't want her to. Please, God, I don't want her to.
Just put out the effort. I don't want that.
But by then, Izzy will have had her 18th birthday.
That's right.
She's 17 right now. The Mission Pro, her home promotion, is a Texas-based promotion.
That's right.
Founded by and ran by La Mera Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
So all the pieces of the puzzle would be perfect. And what better way to do it than at AEW's WrestleMania?
Yep.
Sorry, I had my Chris Rott's fantasy booking moment here for a second, but that would be my dream scenario. Realistic, let it be the Virtuosa, but my dream scenario is that.
I freaking love it, bro. I absolutely love it. And again, Sheeta, of course, won this opportunity last week on Collision. That fatal four was Serena D, Thunder Rosa, and Queen Amanada, in case you all are wondering. So, again, I absolutely love that aspect, 110%. All right. Well, believe it or not, we're about almost halfway through this card. So we'll go ahead and hit this match. And then we'll talk a little bit impromptu about other things, wrestling, including catching up people this week on AEW on other stuff, because there's definitely been more than just what's on this all-out card. I'm glad everything's here because this might be the most comfortable pay-per-view of the year. I'm looking forward to it. But I also am kind of a little bit worried when it comes to a couple of people's well-beings. And these two aren't in a steel cage, but they've literally threatened to break each other's necks. Just saying. JJ, good luck with this one, because it's MJF versus Daniel Garcia for the first time ever one-on-one, where both men have threatened each other's own physical well-being. Daniel Garcia literally talking about MJF where it hurts the most, his pride, and apparently the hair job he got done in Turkey. Ouch. But of course, Daniel Garcia cost MJF the American Championship at All In, and apparently pawned his 100K Dynamite Diamond ring. While MJF said that Daniel Garcia has woken somebody dormant in him and is looking to send him home to his mother to be taken care of by her while he is literally laying in his own bed outside of a hospital. We saw what happened this past Wednesday on Diamond where these two were in a war of words, and Derek Garcia's temper got the better of him, where he ran after MJF, and all MJF did was crash a champagne bottle over his head and left him in a pool of his own blood as he sealed it with a kiss. This guy is one sick fuck, and I thought Swerve and Heyman were demented. That being said, it's Red Death versus the Wolf of Pro Wrestling, one-on-one for the first time ever ahead of AEW Grand Slam that will be in the shadows of both Buffalo and Long Island, New York. JJ, it's weird. We know MJF has signed a long-term deal. Derek Garcia's future completely up in the air, but Derek Garcia says he will stop at nothing till he literally breaks MJF's neck. And for me, when I look at MJF right now, it's almost like he's still fighting himself once again, but we know how well this guy can reinvent himself. You can't hate him. You always respect him. Whether you love him, that's your own jurisdiction, unless your name's Alicia too. So, JJ, where you stand in this first ever singles match? And who's got more to gain and more to lose?
Well, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and I think Keena's going to agree with me here. If Red Death Daniel Garcia doesn't win, he's fucking dead in the water. Period. As far as I know, this is his first match since the gimmick switch.
Yep.
So if he loses, what was the point? Period. He has to win.
A must-win situation.
I don't care if he wins by dubious means and he outcrafts the devil. But he has to win.
Fair. I mean, that's absolutely fair. I mean, again, King, he's not wrong. We saw what happened. Literally, MJF at one point, even before this really started, you know, the genesis of this, back with Will Ospreay and Derek Garcia challenging each other over the AEW International Championship. Last year when MJF was world champion, there was a picture, and he called out also a bunch of names, and he was with a bunch of people. He held them as the future, the pillars to carry AEW forward. One of those men was Daniel Garcia. Here we stand now where he was endorsing Garcia to almost give him a match, it felt like, at All In one-on-one, but instead, Will Ospreay gave him the opportunity for the International Championship in Chicago. And MJF offered that Dynamite Diamond ring. So, are you willing to do what it takes to be the best by any means necessary? He wasn't able to, and he got a Kingdom Blade. While he was humbled and gone to the respectful Ospreay, he ended up going to the hospital, but then got busted open with pile driver and a 100K Dynamite Diamond ring punch to the top of the head in front of his family, ended up in a hospital bed. And then, of course, we saw what happened when he booked himself a one-way trip to All In to cost MJF not only his ring, but his American Championship. Now he looks to take everything from this man, including his own hide. And we know MJF is definitely not coming in here at 100% with how much non-physical action he's given, but how much verbal tension he's built. And we know he's got a bad neck because he was dropped again on the Tiger Driver 91. And again, jury's still out there when it comes to the well-being of MJF. But I think JJ summed it up perfectly to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Talk about a must-win situation. If anyone needs a must-win more on this card than Darren Garcia, I'll be happy to debate somebody over it. Where do you stand?
I mean, you don't get dubbed as the face of the future as part of the second coming of the Four Pillars for no reason. I mean, Daniel Garcia has put in the work in AEW, and he's shown that he can be, you know, at best can be a, you know, role player to a mid-card player, even to World Championship if you even hit that ceiling for Daniel Garcia. And MJF is a top name that basically with this feud. Daniel needs to win. I agree with JJ. Daniel needs to win here because this ain't pelvic thrusting Daniel. No, this is Red Dead. Even Matt Menard said it on Collision backstage whenever he got attacked. If Daniel Garcia doesn't win here, as far as from a business standpoint, because like you said, his future is in the air right now in AEW. If he doesn't win here, where do we go from here with MJF, though? What was the point of, like JJ said, what was the point of having Daniel Garcia go back to being Red Dead if you're just going to lose to MJF? Daniel Garcia needs to win here, and I feel like desperately.
I think they made even more desperate after we saw, again, you talk about who got the momentum ahead of the angle. Daniel Garcia was in a pool of his own blood, knocked unconscious. MJF wasn't. He walked away and sealed it with a kiss in Garcia's own blood. I think we got our answer. Yeah, I agree with you. Daniel Garcia needs to take the high from MJF. Maybe prove that he is willing to do whatever it takes to win. Has the killer instinct. And maybe it's not MJF who had woken something dormant in himself, but Daniel Garcia after that angle on Wednesday night, which you can go find on YouTube. Red Death for the win, and let's see what Red Death becomes now in this new era of AEW as we approach the 5-year anniversary of this company. Just saying, isn't it crazy to think we're approaching 5 years in this company, and what a time it has been. Unfreaking believable. All right, well, let's go ahead and take an impromptu break and talk a little bit more about all things wrestling as we do again. Since last week, Wednesday, we had Emergence, Bash Berlin, we had NXT No Mercy, a couple of quick highlights. Nick Nemeth was able to outlast the Standard, now will challenge and defend that against Moose at Victory Road. We know a whole lot more been developed there with TNA, including out there too. Joe Hendry versus Josh Alexander. We had Comet Petrovic cross the line with the liaison, Ariana Grace. The Directa Alapati with the liaison.
Like you know what? And let me stop you right there real quick, because unfortunately I didn't get to watch Impact last night, but I did see the clip of Ariana Grace come out and announce herself as the liaison.
Yeah.
What have I told you since this shit started, Noah? I want Ariana Grace to cross over since she's the daughter of Santino.
Yep.
Santino is essentially the general manager, and now she's the liaison to NXT. You know, it's not that far away from them having my interaction, bruv.
I know.
We got the start of it this week.
Concern yourself, JJ.
I popped so hard when I heard that she was the liaison. I'm like, we're almost there. We're like Tiana and the Princess and the Frog, bro. We are almost there.
Hell of a comparison, but also he's not wrong, and I'll give you that. And speaking of other things with knockouts and women's wrestling, of course, we know that Jordan Grace defended his success against Carmen Petrovic. Again, still very young in the rest of career, coming in with a karate background, but game ever against the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut was put to sleep afterwards as Rosemary looked on from the Raptors, and the Pillow was in the ring, which tells me that Wendy Chu is not too far away from crossing the line and challenging for that Knockouts World Championship too. Speaking of knockouts, Spitfire has one last chance for the tag titles at 50 Road. If they lose, though, against the Militia, they are done as a duo, period. Heather Reckless now officially has signed, bright up-and-comer from the independent scene. Of course, we've seen her recently back in the AEW Dark Days, but also Ring of Honor. We've even seen her before in TNA, now officially signed as part of the Knockouts of TNA Wrestling. Congratulations to her. She will have her debut match against Michelle Shaw after slapping the Botox out of Ash by Ignorance's mouth after interrupting her backstage segment with Gia Miller. I wish Jay Chung has done that sooner, especially against that concierge. But again, in ring integrity on the job, I respect Jay Chung always. We also know that Jake something has officially lost something in himself. And I'm not talking about Eminem. He snapped against Eric Young, and Steve Macklin came to Eric Young's aid as a respectful win against the world-class Meg at Emergence. And, of course, Steve Macklin now, he finds himself in the crosshairs of Alex Hammerstone. Ooh, boy. After Zachary Wentz won the Extra Championship and beat Wes Lee at NXT No Mercy, the rematch clause has been cashed in, and Speedo Mike Bailey will face Zachary Wentz for the Extra Championship at Victory Road as Victory Road continues to shape out. And as the system is on a full reboot, the ADC is part of the system under Josh Alexander, screwed Joe Hendry again in that 8-man main event. You check your face. And freaking the system won against Santana, Hendry, and the Hardys. And the Hardys have also set their sights on the tag team championships. But the system will get their chance first against the ABC at Victory Road. And that was TNA Impact in a nutshell for this week after the fallout from Emergence. Moving on to WWE, the only thing that mattered was Monday Night Raw versus Ric Flair to me, as Gunther had his greatest moment of his career coming home, defending the World Heavyweight Championship in a classic against the Viper, Randy Orton. Respect was earned amongst the ding-da-da-da and the still 14-time World Champion. Respect for the month is sacred. Yes, JJ?
I feel like we need a third match in the series, because the first match, Randy's shoulder wasn't down, so there was controversy. This match, he passed out. Gunther still has not pinned or made Randy submit.
Nope.
And I feel like until Gunther can get that definitive 1, 2, 3 or tap, there's always going to be that question, that asterisk. Did Gunther get lucky against the Viper?
And can he actually beat the Viper, Randy Orton? But for now, he remains unopposed, except for the fact that Sami Zayn wants to challenge him and do what many have done in the past when it came to raising the prestige and the value of the Workhorse Championship, the Intercontinental Championship. Whether that match is made official remains to be seen. As the Intercontinental Championship tournament's underway with trios matches that will sum up into a fatal four-way to determine a new number contender for Braun Breaker. And at this point, if you're not yeeting, who else are you thinking? Seriously, it's got to be Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker at this point for me. I've been waiting for that for the longest time.
If it's not Jey, then I want it to be Ilya Dragunov. Because they had a couple of bangers down in NXT, so I'd love to see that on the main roster stage.
I agree.
But yeah, I think it's a given. It's going to be Jey Uso.
It makes sense. It absolutely makes sense.
But the question is will Jey actually get the title, or is he going to put Braun over?
Well,
there's the $1 million thing, because I don't think you want to take the title off of Braun yet. He just barely got it at SummerSlam.
Right.
But Jey's been like LA Knight. Like, when are you going to pull that trigger? He is so over.
I mean, it's not the first time he's challenged for that title either, but he also is now dealing with bootleg Judgment Day as he went to the aid of Rhea Ripley because he tied alongside El Campeon former, the Punisher, Damian Priest. So if Jey wins the tournament, loses the match, you blame bootleg Judgment Day for that. Boom. Impromptu 6-mix tag probably. Blech. Or 6-man tag. I don't know. Carlito, I guess, is still there.
Or do you have SmackDown cross the line and have the bloodline be what costs them to try to build towards that War Games match that is more than likely impending at Survivor Series?
Well, that's with Soul and Cody Rhodes right now, which I'll let you more talk about. And again, you go check out his review on Full Love of Wrestling, folks, as he looks at all things wrestling like me in a different capacity. But that's fair. But we'll get to that in a moment as we now cycle into this week, talking about your brand, your true brand, NXT. It was No Mercy, and No Mercy was given. As, of course, the show kicked off with the biggest what the fuck of the night. Sorry, brother. Chase U lost against Nathan Frazier and Axiom. And Rich Holland snapped, and now it's expelled as he dropped out, dropping the professor across the announce table and sent him to the hospital. Hasn't been seen since that point. As we keep going down that show.
Well, I was going to say that's not true, because this week on the show, he destroyed the MVP's trophy and the classroom of Chase University.
Yeah, Rich Holland looking to burn Chase U to the ground. I'll talk more about that again when we get to Wednesday.
So Duke Hudson is looking for vengeance this coming week, as it is WWE week on USA, with limited interruptions across all three programs this week.
All right, good deal. Well, again, it's everything season except for CW, and the only one that matters to me right now is NXT, because NXT right now is the most important brand once again to be the WWE. Congratulations. That being said, we also, of course, saw at NXT No Mercy, Kalani Drum was able to put a Nightmare to sleep for now, outlasting Wendy Chu before Tam Patsy returned and made her go snooze. Then, of course, we move into Oda Family, the undefeated, unopposed, unstoppable ruler of NXT, humbling the family, but game effort by Tony D'Angelo, Roxanne Perez, GTA style, wasted Jada Parker, who is already not going in here at 100%, but beautiful insanity now confronts the prodigy as Julia has officially arrived in NXT. You want to know more about Backstage Follow the Stein podcast? I'll talk more about it probably during the watch alongs on the Bible Network when we do the CW premieres, because that is pretty much official at this point. Because, of course, the main event, it culminated with All Eagle Ethan Page defending the NXT Championship against Joe Hendry. And it was a very game contest as Joe Hendry came so damn close.
He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
He put on camera. Damn it. As Trick Williams, president of Ram, was forced to count the 3. As we go into Tuesday night, you were suddenly talking about it. We also know pretty much Julia
Yeah, I was
woman.
just gonna say we know when she's getting her title opportunity
Yeah.
because she told Roxanne, "You, me, CW."
Although I wouldn't mind seeing the hot mess versus the beautiful insanity one-on-one before that, as Chelsea Green
We
got
probably
dropped
will.
by Julia. And again, I love me a hot mess. And crazy, intense women in wrestling is one of my favorite things in this business. Side note, congratulations to Kayla Kelly, who's about to become a mother, one of my also favorites in the business. Kudos to her. I wish her nothing but a safe birth.
I
And
do have to kind of detour just a little bit. Keen, did you watch the Trick Williams diss video that I sent you?
I haven't got around to it, bro.
Man, okay, so ahead of the match against Pete Dunne on NXT this week, Trick Williams dropped a music video diss track where he flows over the realist beat from 50 Cent and Biggie. And it's all dissing Pete Dunne. Basically, you're a butch instead of you're a bitch. You're a butch since his old gimmick was butch.
Mm-hmm.
The music video has a bunch of NXT stars and alumni popping up in the video to join him and make cameos, appearances by Nikita Lyons, who's still out on injury.
Damn.
Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, of course. Lash Legend gets a thorough smack on her ass from her real life boyfriend.
Gee, I wonder why.
Fallon Henley pops in. Julius Creed and Ivy Nile pop in from the main roster. Tony D is in it. The whole video is just comedy, though. And I was hoping that you would have watched it so I could have got your opinion, since you do have the Don DeMarco show with James. I wanted your opinion on his flow.
So you got homework, bro. Next time we do Saturday shenanigans, that's got to be something that you and Kim break down, whether or not it's this weekend or some weekend down the line. You two need to figure that out. Anyway, now you know. And of course,
knowing it's half the battle.
Yeah, I know. And speaking of Pete Dunne and Trick Williams, they of course went to a no contest after both men went crashing through an announce table of a Russian leg sweep. And now they will compete in a last man standing match, with the winner of that will face Oliver Page for the NXT Championship at the CW. And speaking of Tina Paxley and Wendy Chu, they had fought as Rosemary still has crossed the line, and this definitely has become a nightmarish duo. But it looks like they finally have an opposition, as Lyra Valkyria returned to NXT and went back to aid her former friend Tina Paxley, who embraced her. I guess time heals all wounds, and friendship can win in the end. But can it overcome a nightmare? I guess we'll find out soon enough whenever it's made official. But we wanted you also have an eye on Jordan Grace, Tina Naga's World Championship. There may be more to this women dynamic setup than the four that I saw on NXT.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of conversation in the locker room between Lyra and Tatum, because on Raw, Lyra had made the comment about Raw this week going to be in Calgary. I've got an idea to Zelina Vega. And Tatum's like, I've got your back better than anybody on Raw, trying to throw her name in the hat to come up and help her. But Raw, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Lyra Valkyria's got a plan. I think we see the Queen of Hearts return on Raw to assist Zelina Vega and Lyra Valkyria, but that's Raw, not NXT. But there was that little bit of exchange there that,
Yeah, I get you. And also, still freaking waiting for Natalia returning Grace for the DNR. That's freaking saying.
If she returns on Raw, there's no reason she can't pop down to NXT on Tuesday for the Open Challenge, because Jordan Grace said, I know who I want it to be. But that was all she said.
Exactly.
And everybody's been clamoring for that match.
Yes, exactly. Although Ruga would also be a nice choice too.
Although if I'm being real, I think I'd rather save that for a PLE as opposed to a throwaway NXT. Even, WWE week on USA or the debut on CW. I think I'd rather save that for a PLE.
That's fair, because Natalia deserves that. I absolutely agree. I mean, if I can see that live at Bound for Glory, if I choose to go, that might sway my wallet right there, because you know how much I love women's wrestling and respect the Hart Foundation, and Natalia, highly underrated. Anyway.
And I do have a question for you, sir. Since we did already say his name, he already appeared, and Keen already turned his camera off.
Yeah.
When there was that open spot in the Intercontinental title tournament, I was hoping he was going to fill it, considering he was already in Denver for having done the PLE for NXT the night before.
Yeah. Damn it.
Could you have imagined the pop on Raw if he had come out there? Don't throw your hands up, Keen. You support a brand that's got Orange Cassidy and the Dumb Fucks.
Ah!
You got to give the people what they want.
And the former Maximum male models that broke Noah prior to us coming on the air. Okay, so don't throw your hands up at me for Joe freaking Hendry, the most over gimmick in wrestling right now.
This is accurate. Yeah, I'm about to say y'all can have a great debate on that too. But
like, he is legit on par with as over as Jey Uso is right now as far as fan support. You cannot dispute that. You may not like him, but you cannot dispute that.
Yeah, that's undisputed, baby. Anyway, I get you, JJ. Let's go
Sorry,
ahead.
Keen.
About to say, you tell me.
We see eye to eye on just about everything except Joe Hendry.
Well, again, I always believe. No matter
Gotta
what.
have that one point that we disagree on, bruv.
There's a reason why people are different, but also there's a reason why fans can coexist and everyone's opinions matter. Support when I respect your mentality too. Real quick, things that happened on Wednesday Night Dynamite that did not necessarily associate pay-per-views. We had two title matches. Kyle Fletcher, phenomenal effort against Kazuchika Okada for the Continental Championship. It's a near 20-minute draw, just under a little bit, about 45 seconds left mark. But a low blow and a rainmaker later, after some of the damnedest offense survived, Okada did escape, but not before he was confronted up from the entranceway by the Alpha Ganosuke Takeshita and Mariah May, showing the white and gold. Good grief almighty. She was able, as Beauty was able to overcome the beast, the native beast, in her first defense and give us a tease, not a taste, a tease of what still could be ahead. Just saying. And she also did that tonight in the Golden Red, saying that the hardest thing about her is that she can't see herself. I guess the hardest thing is being yourself. Who knew? And maybe giving us a tease for something at All Out. And Jon Moxley and Maria Shafir still confused as hell about that. Bottom line, waiting for Darby Allin, just wants to talk, but his patience is wearing thin. And he was running roughshod tonight across Collision and Rampage, wiping out the Outrunners. They got the first win on Collision in AEW history. And Eric Khalid before wiping them out backstage, which made me sad. And then
I do have a question here, since I have missed a few episodes of AEW television.
Yeah.
With Mox doing what he's doing, is he still with the BCC, or is he like his own rogue entity right now?
Yeah, you go ahead and add to this.
It's pretty, I don't know, because it's like it's leading more questions than we have answers. And we're not going to get those answers until we get the conversation from Darby Allin, who, may I add, has a world title shot waiting for him at Grand Slam because of Royal Rampage. So we're not going to get anywhere until we have that conversation with Darby. And like what Noah said, his patience is running thin.
Because right now I'm getting very, very much Scott Hall vibes. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
I'm here.
And again, that line of Tony Schiavone, this is not your company anymore. What?
And Tony Schiavone is like the right-hand man to Tony Khan, speaking directly to him. Exactly.
Well, I guess, again, to be determined. Let's go ahead and switch back into AEW to that great relay for the last week of wrestling action across the board. As we get back in AEW, it's talking about Kazuchika Okada and the Continental Championship. This match was made official and fully set up tonight during Collision. By the way, if go homes into Saturday night pay-per-views are like this, I'll take this on Friday nights. This was great. We have a four-way now for the AEW Continental Championship as Renegade Kazuchika Okada, again, of that incredible defense against Kyle Fletcher this Wednesday on Dynamite. He will now defend against Mark Briscoe, who beat Lance Archer tonight. He will also defend against Orange Cassidy, who beat Bounty Hunter Brian Keefe. Excuse me, Bad Apple Brian Keefe. And he will also defend against the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita, who beat the Beast Mortis, one of the damnedest, most physical matches I have seen in a long time in All Elite Wrestling. It's a fatal four-way for the AEW Continental Championship. And the fact of the matter is, Konosuke confronted this man on Dynamite from the stage. That's a one-on-one waiting to happen. Claudio Castagnoli was not pinned or submitted, nor did Okada beat this man. He outlasted 20-minute time limit, and Claudio's hell bent on getting this title and being represented as such end of the year in the Continental Classic. But this is September. We still have a little bit over 3 months and 2 weeks to get to the Continental Classic, and 2 more pay-per-views before that. And Title Tuesday, if this becomes a thing. Claudio Castagnoli and that being said, you know how fair four ways goes, folks. Champions have to be involved in the decision to lose the title. We talk about the Elite still holding all the gold. When does that give? We so far have one set of the official Elite holding on to championships. Does it continue? And might I add, JJ, Kazuchika Okada has not yet been pinned or submitted since coming to AEW. So where do you stand with this?
I don't think he's going to tonight, or for the pay-per-view either. Okada's going to keep it. The only way we keep my storyline that I discussed earlier when we talked about the Young Bucks match is if he retains the title. You know, I mean, the new Elite are out for all the gold.
Right.
Gold equals power.
Right.
You're already EVPs. How do you get more power? You get the gold. Perry's the TNT champion. The Bucks are the tag champions. Okada's the Continental champion. You have them retain their matches and you add trios gold.
Oh, good Lord. They're bathing gold. Good grief. It'd be crazier belt correctors than Kenny Omega was when he was wearing 4 championships at once across 3 different companies, including the
Because don't get me wrong, as much as I love Father of the Year, Captain Charisma, leader of the patriarchy, they don't need the trios titles.
And that's why they don't have
on them.
Yeah, and you were talking about Darby Allin with a World Championship match at Grand Slam. Let's not forget, folks, Christian Cage is a guaranteed AEW World Championship opportunity anytime he wants.
And I still think he's going to Money in the Bank that shit and hold it. I think he's going to do what Edge did back in 06.
Imagine if he does that in January, though.
I think he's going to wait until Adam Copeland comes back and becomes champion and cash in his opportunity by taking the title right off of his best friend.
It's crazy.
Former best friend.
It's crazy to think also, JJ, that we're approaching Wrestle Dream. It was Wrestle Dream last year that Adam Copeland arrived in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already in picture was floating around on social media that he's already back in training with FTR and Sting, one of Sting's sons, Garrett. So
yeah,
he's slowly coming back.
It's also, again, you think about people that are injured. Look at the people that are coming back. Adam Copeland, Ty Mello,
Adam Cole, baby.
Julia Hart. There are people that are
Sky Blue.
Things. Yeah, Sky Blue again. Get well soon. I know that leg injury is not going to let up anytime soon, but boy, do I miss her.
Me too.
Again, Sky Blue, such an upside. I was holding out that she was going to be Chris Statlander for the TBS title, but didn't happen. Last year, Full Gear, again, Julia Hart won her first championship. She's been rebuilding. The house will rise again. Just saying. All right.
Sky Blue is the definition of hate to see you go, but love to watch you leave.
Holla.
No. Well, that being said, we got one for Okada retaining. As far as not being pinned or submitted, it sounds like he's going to take advantage of the field with a big fuck you. And as King alluded to, my bad. It's not name versus name versus name. As Okada learned how to use Instagram, it's bitch versus bitch versus bitch. How did Okada make bitch the word of the year is beyond me and make it sound cool. That's what happens when you deal with Japanese corporate, I guess, with one of the greatest in the game. Probably the greatest worker since Ric Flair. Don't at me. That being said, King, we got one for Okada. Where do you stand? As if I need to ask.
Why'd you ask me such a question like that? I'm rolling with it because I'm going with always the Continental Elite Rainmaker himself. Okada is retaining.
All right, I'm fine. I give. Again, there's a reason why I literally do this every time the man's on my screen. I will respect this man until he can't wrestle no more and be incredibly sad.
Yeah.
This guy is unbelievable.
I have to take a quote from the original X-Men movie with the way you just asked Keen A-Train there. Why do you ask questions to which you already know the answers?
Fair enough.
Thank
And
you, JJ.
again, I understand that reference.
It's like asking me who I think is going to win in a Young Bucks or Mercedes match. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick their opposition, but let's be real right now.
Heart versus mind. Fair enough. Again, Mark Briscoe bring up our world champion. He doesn't need this. Orange Cassidy, one of the most noteworthy AEW national champions in company's history. But also, I forgot to add, Chris Jericho stole his backpack because Chris Jericho is still looking for that $7,000 cash for that jacket ruined a few years ago. And after being bounty hunter Brian Keefe, the learning tree is looking to teach Orange Cassidy a lesson in possession and revenge and redemption and also pay the price. And also, literally repaying for your previous sins. I think Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho are going to have a learning experience sooner rather than later over that JanSport backer you get at your local Walmart for $35. But to Orange Cassidy, it probably has a lot more personal value. Thanks, guys. And, of course,
bye, guys.
And, of course, like I said, he has been on a hard, strong run since coming back from Japan, from the G1. Hasn't been pinned or submitted so far. It just feels like to me Orange Cassidy's going to be the fall guy, and probably Jericho is going to be part of the reason. Because Orange Cassidy, where's his mind? You tell me. I think that Konosuke and Okada's a one-on-one to come down the line. They're going to keep that strong. And there's no reason for Mark Briscoe to be pinned here. He's the Ring of Honor World Champion. So the conglomeration is literally just that. So there's a reason why there's 2 parts conglomeration, 1 part elite, 1 part Okada's family. You know which faction is going to take the fall here. So, yeah, Okada's retaining. All right. Well, that being said, that was simple. This is not going to be simple. Shout out to AAW, where both these women grit their teeth and were on the grind. But one woman was a champion from there, and we heard her speak her mind on Collision. Talk about envious. But again, based on what she said, I think she had a lot of valid points. Let's go ahead and talk about this. And as far as I know, JJ, this is not for a title. This is just pure vengeance. It is a Chicago street fight with Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander and that Dune Stokely Hathaway in Statlander's corner. But again, Stat's where it's at. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree. Well, again, long story short, the short version, it was all in where both Tomohiro Ishii and Willow Nightingale got the better of Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander and got to choose a stipulation for the one-on-one match. It is now a Chicago street fight. How fitting. With 2 women that know how to go extreme, but have only usually done it as a tag team. This is the first time ever since they've been rivaling and wrestling against each other out of respect, no longer out of respect it seems from a storyline standpoint, that they're going to the extreme against each other versus together in Chicago. Chris Statlander, former notorious TBS champion. Willow Nightingale, of course, former TBS and Strong Women's champion, history maker, main eventer on Ring of Honor pay-per-view. And Chris Statlander said, I was here first. You then came here. You rolled alongside me. I gave you that TBS title opportunity because I respect you as a friend. When you became TBS champion, I was there for you alongside you, but you never gave me a chance. I never got my contract to get one of my rematch for the TBS title. Again, she's right. She was never pinned or submitted for that championship. Let's keep in mind. And since then, Chris Statlander's envy's grown, probably with the influence of the halfway, and she stabbed her friend in the back after she lost that championship. So here we stand. The bottom line is this. You look at Chris Statlander and this character change we talked about for the longest time. If she doesn't get a major win, what was the point? Kind of like Daniel Garcia. With a Nightingale, her freaking song says, smile always. Even in, a disaster, a catastrophe, defeat. You go to that close of an Paquette, she talks about herself in that sort of capacity. And at this point, she's kind of part of the conglomeration, so you see where she stands. It's one of those things that I always say, stat is where it's at, damn it. And I really want that to hold up true. But with the ecosystem of the women's division still figuring itself out, now ruled by and a Ratchet. It's one of those things where Chris Statlander, I think, does need to get a win to really try and build something, maybe towards challenging the glamour or being more involved in championship contention. And Willow Nightingale does still have that CML Women's World Championship. And again, I don't think it's on the line here, but in Madman Tony Khan's multiverse of ecosystem of championships, Maybe that could be on the line down the line on Title Tuesday or Battle of Belts 12 next month. I'm going with Chris getting the win here. Someone tells me that Chris needs to get the big win. And last year, she won, of course, against Ruby Soho, defending the TBS title. So I think that she finally uses that chain to her advantage and gets the win here. Plus, it was Willow that picked the stipulation. Usually when a person picks a stipulation, they set themselves up for the fall. More often the heel than not. It was the baby face that got to set up the decision here, which makes it even more weird. But I'm going with Stat for the win because Stokely, I'm sure, will have a plan. And anything goes. Kane, let's start with you. Where do you stand with this as well?
Originally, it was for the CMLO Women's World Championship. I mean, Excalibur announced it on the All In 0 Hour. And then all of a sudden, it got switched to being, just a regular old Chicago street fight. Now, if it was for the title, of course, you would have had Willow retain. But since it's not, Stokely's influence just became 10 times better, in my opinion, and will come up with a devious plan. And I bet you they're talking strategy right now as we speak for a devious plan to just basically eliminate Willow. I'm going with Stat. Saturday night is where it's at.
Quite literally on Saturday night. JJ, you and I have argued verbatim for the last year about Stat, where I said she's where it's at, and I see her wrestle Sky Blue live with the TBS Championship on the line here in Toledo. But you always called her whack. Since this character metamorphosis, though, I've seen a subtle change from you, but you also haven't seen a lot out of Chris Statlander, of course, since you lost it on the Yowen. But that being said, you look at her character, you look at her deposition. Maybe you go back and listen to that face-to-face sit-down with Renee Paquette that happened tonight during Collision, which is why I bring this up. Where do you stand in this singles match?
Well, you're right. For the better part of the last year and a half, whenever you've said Stat is where it's at, I've always said that Stat is whack. But you've also got to keep in mind who her primary feuds have been during that time. Kate Cargill, Willow Nightingale. How much do I love both of those women, Noah?
Quite tremendously.
Okay, so I'm going to pick those two over Stat every day of the week. But.
There's the but.
But I do kind of agree with what y'all said here. The fact that Willow picked the stip, I feel like Stat needs to get the W here. And especially since the title isn't on the line. A victory, like you said, can get her in line for a title opportunity. Whether it's Grand Slam, Title Tuesday, like you said, Battle of the Belts that don't change hands, Wrestle Dream.
I knew that was coming.
Something. But my heart says go with Willow because that I've supported her. I've been a ride or die since I first saw her.
That's fair.
But if I'm in Vegas and I'm betting money and I'm looking to turn a profit, then Stat is where it's at.
Yeah, again, Stokely halfway has been trying to prove a point about Willow Nightingale truly being in Stat shadow and was nothing without her the entire time. And if Statlander is going to finally back that up with this character change, especially signing with this cue ball annoyance, then she has to get a win here where the situation is extreme. It feels like extreme circumstances favor Statlander more too. I gotta go with Stat in the Chicago street fight. No disrespect to Willow. And again, AAW represent.
But Willow has won every street fight she's had. So she's got that going for her as well. You say, in a situation that's extreme like this, every time Willow's been in this type of match, she's won.
Outside the tag match that Chris clearly lost, being submitted by Julia Hart after Julia Hart and Sky Blue got the better of the duo, you are correct.
So, I mean, again, I've got until 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern to change my mind. So,
yep.
But put me down for Stat.
And we're all with Stat because right now Stat needs to be where it's at. More for her sake than our own freaking point in the predictions league. Good luck to both these women. Absolutely kill it. Still the show. Be better than this. Although, Sheeta, I'm really holding out for you. All right.
It's not going to be hard to be better than a Mercedes Monet match. I mean, Jesus.
All right.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is everybody thought that Mercedes versus Britt was gonna be a fucking barn burner, and it stunk up the joint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a call where it said I agreed. Oh my goodness.
that was
And
good.
last I checked, it took 2 people to dance, so you can't put all of it on Britt.
No.
Some of it's got to go on Mercedes.
You got to have that trust. You got to have that cohesion, that communication. You got to be able to present. And they were on the grandest stage in Law, and boy, were they in the perfect spot considering the crowd wasn't able to say anything really heavy because they were exhausted from MJF and Will Ospreay. So perfect spot for them. That being said, Sheeta, different animal. And Monet, we'll see what she can do against the Ace once again. That's a whole different conversation. By the way, 2 women's matches on this simple main card of less than 8 matches. Take note. Very good stuff. All right. As the Glamour, T's also being part of All Out for something. And again, I'm just waiting for Mina Shirakawa to continue her work for Ring of Honor and confront her former sister and make this match official at Wrestle Dream and make King lose himself worse than Eminem's song. That being said, let's go ahead and move into what feels like is semi-main because at the end of the day, it's the AEW World Championship and it's Bryan Danielson. And he's also fighting Jack Perry. It is the AEW World Championship. The American Dragon Bryan Danielson defending the gold against Scapegoat Jack Perry. This was literally brought out of open challenge circumstances with the fact of the matter that Bryan Danielson said last week on Dynamite. We all saw that. He talked about how his family's ready to come home. He's due for neck surgery soon, and his contract literally ran up at the beginning of August. As King said during our watch along, King, you're right. He's basically on extension. And it literally is ride and die. The day he loses this title, his career is done. Period. So he is going to fight for this title, fight for AEW. And he knew that all that was around the corner. So he's waiting for somebody to step up. In comes Jack Perry, who again did pin the American Dragon back at Double or Nothing at the end of Anarchy in the Arena. And Jack Perry, who's literally been making his own form of history since coming back to AEW over the last year, including beating Darby Allin in his own match, a coffin match. And remember, the winner of this match has Darby Allin waiting for them at Grand Slam. That's if Jon Moxley doesn't get to him first, where he says he just wants to have a conversation. And I still don't know the true extent of that with Marina Shafir at his side. That's probably one of the most lethal duels ever in AEW. That being said, JJ, we truly are on a different final countdown. I don't expect the final countdown to hit tonight, but I do know it's coming soon. We all do. We all got to be conscious with the father that we love as the wrestler and as the man, as the human being. Time only does so long for you, especially when your body finally catches up with you. But it's his first defense. There is no way in heck I see him losing this title. Do we really got to talk about Scapegoat Jack Perry becoming AEW World Champion? In the immortal words of the late, great Mean Gene Okerlund, give me a break. But that being said, without any disrespect, does Darby Allin show up? Does Jon Moxley have that conversation? Do we get a competition for a Grand Slam? Does Christian Cage tease when he may execute his game plan? JJ, what's your thoughts on this AEW World Championship match?
My thoughts on this AEW Championship match is very simple. This is the biggest troll job in the history of professional wrestling.
This is accurate.
The only reason this is happening is because it was All Out last year where Tony Khan, in front of the crowd, announced that Punk had been fired in Chicago. We are back in Chicago. The man who Punk had that brawl with backstage is now in the main event challenging one of Punk's former best friends for the championship. If you at home don't think you're being trolled, get the fuck out the fandom.
Nah.
This is legit 100% a troll job. And I'm not going to lie, as huge of a Punk fan as I am, I applaud Tony Khan for trolling the fans like this. May as well play into it.
Business.
They know they are going into Chicago. They know where they are going. What better way to get under that crowd than to have the scapegoat in the semi-main or main event? I still feel this should be the main event, but we know it's not going to be. That's bullshit, but that's a whole other story.
Right. It's whatever. Continue.
The only way you troll the audience even more is you have Jack Perry win. And there are ways to have Jack Perry win where he doesn't walk out with the title.
Right.
You talked about a couple of them. There's a disqualification victory. You know, there's plenty of people that want their shot at that world title. Do they come and get involved, interject to where, you know, they get Bryan disqualified?
Who was on the Elite's payroll when the Elite said they'll do absolutely anything to get this title back to the Elite. You want to talk about power? This is the absolute power.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, there's Christian Cage with his opportunity. Does he steal this away from both men? Does Moxley attack Bryan in order to get the victory for Jack?
To add to that, JJ, I almost forgot
Does Christian help Jack in a way to try to reunite Jurassic Express under the patriarchy?
Oh, good Lord. John Moxley.
Christian has already got Luchasaurus.
Kill switch, but yeah. That troll. Friggin' only.
I'm just saying, like.
You're not wrong.
And it's not like Jack Perry couldn't use a father figure. I love Dylan McKay. Luke Perry, rest in peace, but he's been gone for a few years. Jack Perry could use another father figure.
This is true as well.
So, fall into the patriarchy, bro.
Good grief.
Reunite with your tag team brethren.
Patriarchy takes control of AEW.
The patriarchy and the Elite merge like corporate business.
Oh, dear God. It's a scary thought.
Bryan is going to walk out with the title. That's what's going to happen at the end of the day. Who wins, who loses, that's a bigger question mark than Edward Nigma of Gotham City can deliver. But Bryan Danielson walks out with the title.
Well then, simple as that. We were talking about John Moxley, and again, the connection of Rebel Comic is still there. Remember what he said at the beginning of the year, King? Everybody, friends and enemies, you need to do one thing with me. Keep up. He's always held Rita Shafir to a very unique status quo in this business. Of course, being current Defy Women's Champion, by the way, he definitely got a lot more value to his verbal merit. And now that you are rolling together, running roughshod, including attacking the Outrunners, how dare they? The ultimate heel move in the business. But that being said, you stop that. That being said, where do you stand with this AEW World Championship match? And honestly, the future of Bryan Danielson.
When Jack Perry announced himself to be the next challenger via open challenge, status from Bryan Danielson, the discourse I have seen within the last 24 hours have been insane. And I'm talking insane to a degree. Yes, I get it. It is Jack Perry, TNT champion. Why is he in this spot? Open challenge. Also, it's Bryan Danielson. It's pretty much like I said on our watch along. He's on an extension. So basically, it's going to be a short title run where we look at it. Bryan doesn't need a banger title defense on this short title run. You can use a filler here. Sorry, Jack, no offense. But you're pretty much a filler title defense for Bryan. Let's call it how it is. I mean, yes, he did pin Bryan at Double or Nothing at Anarchy in the Arena. Yes, you can make that claim. When you look at Jack Perry and what he has done in AEW, you would think, like, like I said, why is he getting this spot here? Two reasons. One, he's with the Elite. The Elite have power. Two, I just said it. You just said it. He pinned Bryan. Two legitimate claims there. But let's be real. Bryan is walking out of Chicago still the AEW World Championship.
Yeah, the heat in Chicago is going to be enough fuel for this match for Jack Perry to already feel like the winner. And JJ, to your point, there was a heavy dose of it during the 8-man All-Star main event tonight. I kid you not. But yeah, the result is simple. The aftermath is completely unpredictable. But Jack Perry ain't winning this title. What happens afterwards, if not beforehand, especially if John Moxley and Darby Allin are both in the building and both there, your guess is as good as mine. But hey, Bryan Danielson, thank you. I look forward to watching this final sprint of the American Dragon as we get closer and closer to the final countdown, hitting 0-2. I wonder if Mamet Chili Khan's crazy enough to do final countdown each championship match, knowing that it could be the last time that Bryan Danielson wrestles. That would cost.
Remember what Matt Jackson said. $250,000. Give or take.
They can afford it. They can afford it. They got Warner Bros. Discovery behind them. They can afford it. All right. With that being said, we've had a lot of talk about unique discussion. We broke down the last week in All Things Wrestling. Again, it's impromptu, so the 1 week removed, but let's go ahead and get down to it. Even if it shouldn't be, it damn sure is the most personal, it seems. Let's get right into what obviously is going to be, because again, AEW is not legally responsible. Our main event, in whose house, you tell me. I'm not even sure whose house it is anymore. But these two truly are the definition of AEW fight forever. And I'm not talking about the video game. It's him and Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland one-on-one for the 4th time ever. And that's not the right graphic, is it? This is. In a lights-out steel cage match, what in the holy hell is AEW thinking? Well, clearly nothing, because they don't want to be responsible for the absolute melee that these two men are going to do. Okay, guys, let's break it down and get right into this shit. And I'm not talking about cowboy shit, simply. Him and Adam Page and Swerve Strickland started this thing out last year at Wrestle Dream after he called him out for being nothing more but a child and went to extreme circumstances invading the man's house. Home invasion is a crime literally punishable by law. Instead, these two crazy fucks went to a Texas death match. And to your point, JJ, verbatim, one of the damnedest matches we've ever seen in our life. They shared blood, and one man was literally hanged. After that, we saw him and Adam Page come back with even more vengeance, and he challenged Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship. More so to stop Swerve from claiming that title, saying that as long as I eat, sleep, and breathe, you will never be champion. Personal vendetta. It not only cost Swerve Evolution, it cost Heyman. He got suspended. But since then, we see what the Heyman's done. He moved because the family scars were too deep and came back more darker than ever than the song Men in Black by Johnny Cash. All-time country favorite. And we saw what happened in their latest one-on-one encounter. They went for 30 minutes, and it went to a draw. But one thing that is common here, Heyman Adam Page says he's better than Swerve Strickland. And Swerve has not beaten Heyman one-on-one without some form of help. Just saying. Now, truth be told, Wrestle Dream was Prince Nana on the Crown Jewels, and Full Gear, it was Brian Cage and every weapon not named the kitchen sink. Now we got truly every obstacle looking from the outside as they are locked in. There should be no consequences to this. There should be no controversy. There should be no aftermath between these two men going at it again, if we're being perfectly honest. Because when the lights go out, AEW is not responsible for anything that happens with these two men inside a steel cage. Heyman and Adam Page, who literally was challenged by Swerve, what sort of man are you going to be for AEW? What sort of man are you going to be for your family? You're a family man, then lead us to professionals. Heyman saying, okay, do I look for revenge or for peace? Why not both? So he burnt down Swerve's childhood home, literally burning down Swerve's house while drinking Jack Daniels and sitting in a sofa. What a serene scene at the end of Dynamite this Wednesday. And here we are, So, guys, this literally is probably going to be the most lethal match we've seen since John Moxley and Kenny Omega at Full Gear 2019. Oh, shit. Well, Swerve, I know, is going to be an AEW World Champion once again, but will Hangman ever find resolution if he doesn't beat Swerve Strickland? That's the questions. JJ, I start with you. Who in the fuck is going to survive this and be declared a winner, more so a survivor, and actually move forward? Who finally puts away this feud for the time being between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland when the lights go out inside a steel cage?
Is it sad, gentlemen, that out of all of the matches on this show, the match that is more than likely going to be our main event is the one I care about the least?
It's a very unique dilemma to think about as a fan. Yeah.
It is no secret how I feel about the master of cowboy shit. And as much as I do like Swerve, I am just over this feud. We've already had 3 encounters. Now we're having a 4th. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I really don't know who wins.
I think Swerve is about done with this too, to your point. He talked about how Heyman's career is going up in flames while he's been on the rise, creating a dynasty. Just saying. I think Swerve's about as sick of it as you.
I mean, if Swerve doesn't win and get revenge for Hangman burning down his childhood home, then what are we doing here? Like Swerve deserves to get some ultimate revenge here.
Especially when he's not legally, responsible.
And if Hangman doesn't win, what the fuck happens to him?
Ran off in the sunset?
Like, how do you recover from another loss like this on this level? As far as I'm concerned, you're never in the title picture ever again if you lose. I just can't buy you as a viable threat. You torch a dude's house and you still lose. Why am I going to take you seriously? Ever. But I have to take a pick, so I'm going to go with Swerve.
All right. Just leave it at that, huh, bro?
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, King Garments up. That being said, that's probably going to be the most friendly thing we'll see here. Probably the darkest entrance we've ever seen as well, considering the demeanor that Swerve's going to be going in this with. I mean, when you burn a house down, how do you not get revenge from that? Then again, it's literally not even sanctioned by AEW. So, a couple things here, gents. The win and loss does not matter. And Swerve already signed his new contract with AEW. So while JJ thinks about that, and again, the predictions are made official 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. King, I'm not sure whose house this is anymore, but I know that this is going to be literally hell on earth waiting both men, and they are going to live in it until the very end of their last drop of blood and their last draw of breath. Who the hell is considered the winner in this freaking... It's got to be it. Seriously, you can't go any further than this besides killing a man and exploding barbed wire that works. We got to be done with this feud after this. What the fuck else do you do with these two yahoos? This isn't Randy Orton and John Cena 15 times over the same damn match. This is Swerve and Hangman in their 4th escalated match. And it's not even sanctioned.
Would you give them full reign to do whatever they darn well pleased?
That's what's repercussions. None.
Exactly. And especially when Swerve made that first move, and he invaded Hangman's house. Months later, Hangman invaded Swerve's childhood home. And when we thought Swerve did not have a weakness in his body, in his bone in his body, it took one home to break that man down on his knees, crying, while Hangman is just sipping a whiskey of Jack Daniels on a sofa, watching the carnage that he just displayed to close out Dynamite this past Wednesday. But remember also, he said that if he ever gets to the AEW World Championship ever again, that he was going to stop him at what it takes. But also, to fair on that, Hangman has beat, or Swerve has beat Hangman, but with help. Prince Nana the first time. Brian Cage and Prince Nana the second time. It's lights out steel cage match. The only help he's going to have, which probably play no factor, is Prince Nana. But what's Prince Nana going to do from the outside?
And a weapon in through the cage? I don't freaking know.
You tell me.
We know how this steel cage is better built than WWE as well, considering the fact that it's taller and you're literally locked inside and there's no area around the ring.
And what better way to basically put the bow and say, I beat you by myself. Just me. Swerve got to end this. I've been liking this feud even the fourth match. But I started to get close to where, okay, we got to be done. As much as I like this feud, Swerve needs to move on from this, but you can also give Hangman more demented after this loss. How demented you can go with Hangman, that remains to be seen. But with a loss here, or Hangman will prove Swerve's point that you just been focused on me, that you've been losing focus on yourself while your career is going up in flames because you've been so focused on me, on preventing from being a world champion, and you already failed because I've already done that. So Swerve is going to be the one to end Hangman and put the bow and basically have Hangman right off to the sunset. Swerve wins it.
He has to. I know we're talking about Derek Garcia in a must-win situation. Probably the only match in this card we truly thought we had a must-win situation. But for me, if we're going to have closure, if we're going to finally move on from this feud, if the guy that's from Tacoma, Washington is going to reset his idealisms and maybe go after the AEW World Championship in his hometown and defy all possible challenges that could be in front of him, he doesn't have to beat the Hangman. He needs to end him. You talked about before, Hangman has been hell-bent. He finally has humbled Swerve. He literally had the man on his knees. He hurt him personally. It doesn't get more of a fatality than this for Swerve to not only get revenge, but prove Hangman wrong and make sure Hangman's nothing but an afterthought in the sunset waiting for a mortician to be picked up from a casket. I don't want to go that much of leaving portions, but this is AEW. What did I say one time? AEW, where the children don't play, the men fucking bleed. Now these men could literally try and kill each other, and AEW is not legally responsible for anything that happens in between that cage. It's gotta be Swerve. It's gotta be. Bottom line, you just have to move away from this. Heyman does not need to be involved towards the championship if that's not his agenda. And Swerve wants to get back there. And honestly, if Swerve wants to get that one-on-one rematch clause in there, boom, bury your past, have no obstacles, truly defy yourself, and see if you can be the American Dragon's undoing now they had his moment. Not that I'm saying that's going to be American Dragon Brian Daniels' undoing, but I think this is Hangman's end game, and Swerve ends him. It's got to be Swerve. If it's not Swerve, why did Swerve resign? And are we truly going to try and elevate and escalate this even further if Hangman once again proves that Swerve is not better than him and can beat him one-on-one? Again, what in God's name? Good Lord, have mercy on my soul and using your name in vain. I apologize. What in the name of professional wrestling booking can you do to another man from a wrestling competition, want to call it that standpoint, than a fucking lights out steel cage match? Where do you go from here with these two? It has to be it. Done. Period. Point blank simple. And Swerve's got to be the guy on top. And Heyman right now, he just has to be that victim. Because, in my opinion, Swerve is the long-term future of this company. Period. I'm going with Swerve Strickland in his house, new built house.
The only place I could see us going from here, and please God, I don't want another one of these because the last one was garbage.
Don't say it.
But that
Don't say
exploding barbed wire, whatever.
He said it. Exploding barbed wire death match. I finished it for you.
Thank you.
I feel so bad.
That's the only other place they could go from here.
Do not. After what we witnessed at Revolution 2021, do not.
I know. Trust me, I don't want it either, Keen. I prefaced it with that, but that's literally the next level extreme that they could go from this that they haven't done.
Well,
there is really nowhere else they could go from that if they went to that.
Yeah, and again, let's forget about what these two men have done to each other. They drank each other's blood. They stapled each other like friggin' paper, including a piece of paper to one man's face. They've literally had pincushion one another. We've seen broken beer bottles. We've seen cinder blocks. We've seen steel chains. We've seen freaking brain busters on top of barricades. We've seen mans literally hanged and braced and fish hooked by barbed wire steel chairs. The amount of lethal proportions that these two men are capable of, and AEW is not legally responsible for under this circumstance, is damn right scary and to think about at this point. And we are less than 12 hours away from seeing what the fuck these two yahoos are about to do to end this once and for all. You fought Darby Allin trying to burn Jack Perry was freaking insanity. Heyman burned a man's house to make Swerve go to this point. There's no telling what Swerve's going to do to this man. God rest their souls. Last rites for Heyman and Page, though. Swerve needs to win. All right. Well, that being said, that concludes AEW All Out City Predicting and this combination of a City Predicting Impromptu. So I think with that, we'll bid everybody a fine adieu and say thank you. And again, guys, good luck. You know your prediction will be official in the form. I'll put it out after I get some sleep and wake up like 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday. Take care of some personal matters with my mother and get the league all together. As always, first for passions. I have been working on all 5 prediction leagues, by when people are wondering. But after Saturday, I'm going to need rest in church after the madness I'm going to call and endure again. God have mercy on Heyman and Swerve's souls. So Sunday afternoons, we'll have all the prediction league updates out. How fitting. With that being said, before we go, let's go ahead and get closing thoughts and plug stuff too. Be everybody a fine adieu. And again, gentlemen, good luck. Always a pleasure. And as always, we are ATW. King, good luck. It's always fun doing this with you. Again, this Friday was insane, but it's a lot of fun. Any last thoughts, and where can people find you?
All I gotta say is, like I said earlier, buckle up. We're about to go all out, gentlemen. Follow me on the X, Twitter. I can't believe I just said X. Oh, you can tell my brain's tired. Follow me on Twitter, AMT, Roman numeral 23, number 23 afterwards. Follow me on Instagram, same way, but with the dot afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. I can tell you're tired and you're on Central. This guy's on West Coast and he's freaking just hitting fracking 10 p.m. about. Well, JJ, we're all about for the love of wrestling here in All Things Wrestling, but there is not going to be no love shown between him and Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. As the King said, we're going on out in Chicago. Buckle up, folks, and I'm not riding the Metro. But anything you want to promote, JJ, and any last thoughts?
Make sure you follow me on social media. You can find me at the Renegade JJ Williams on Instagram, ROWJJ Williams on the Twix, Casa D18 Studios on YouTube. Check out my show, For the Love of Wrestling. Monday through Thursday, I realized that the Sling doesn't have Fox. I forgot. You've been telling me for a while, so
yeah, I have.
I couldn't do SmackDown tonight, but now that SmackDown will be premiering on USA next week, I will be able to start doing it. So Monday through Friday, about a half hour after the East Coast feeds are over, on the days that I don't have to work my normal job. Check out For the Love of Wrestling as I recap the week in pro wrestling day by day. Other than that, just be on the lookout for the Casa channel. We got the Saturday Night Shenanigans every Saturday, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 Eastern. Maybe a little bit later, considering, Tony Khan and AEW is probably going to send us to about 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern before he goes off the air. So,
Again,
post pay-per-view PLE on those nights, but
yeah.
standard time, 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern.
There you go. Simply put. Again, good luck, gentlemen. Always a pleasure. And let's get ready to go all out in Chicago. And Lord have mercy on the souls of him and Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. And for that matter, the necks of Darren Garcia and MJF. A lot of bad blood to be spilled. Ahead of bad blood in Georgia next month as we get ready for Grand Slam and the 5-year anniversary of AEW. Again, folks, check it out if you wish. Otherwise, check out our watch along on the Reliable Network. And thank you all for tuning in. If you want to engage with me, simply put, follow me at Foster1916 on the Twitter and on YouTube primarily, as I post about all things wrestling. Again, shout out to the ATW family. You can find the entire playlist for this fun little impromptu podcast we created on my simple YouTube channel. Please continue to follow my friends in the entire ATW crew, including who I mentioned earlier. Links will be in the description down below, especially Mary Jade, continues to prove that Jade is worth more than gold. Follow my simple YouTube channel if you choose to keep up with predictions and give your own simple assessments of all the biggest shows, all the PLEs, all things wrestling weekly. And again, the X is where you primarily find all the prediction league updates and forums. So follow me there on the same umbrella at nfoster1916. For I only wish to encourage you, as I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. Reminding you there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, especially with election season around the corner and dumbass idiots across the world doing the stupidest damn things whatsoever. And treasure your families. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. But with that being said, we have so much ahead as September now is underway. Thank you so much for tuning in as we're about to go all out. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell for Simon Man on this channel. Hit the subscribe button. I assure you our YouTube passion, content creativity is not leaving anytime soon. Will there be an ATW View Impromptu Fallout special after all out? It depends on me and these Brahms fatigues and mentalities too, because this show is damn near going to leave us scarred mentally based on what we can expect from AEW, with the fact this is a shorter card in match length, but more lethal in match content, considering what's going to be our main event. Lights off, lights on. Just saying. But again, we'll see you all next time. See you on the Simply Reliable Network where we do our watch along. For the entire WWE crew, for the King A Train, for Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Wins, for anybody that's a fan of professional wrestling in and out of AEW, no matter what you watch, just respect each other. Just enjoy wrestling. It is so damn easy. Why does people and the internet make life so difficult? Learn how to use this responsibly. I know it's a hard sentence for somebody to comprehend, but it's not a hard thing to do. Then again, if common sense was more common, more people would do it. Quote unquote, JJ Williams. For now, we bid you all a fine adieu. On behalf of the ATW crew, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, let's go all out and make a positive impact in life. And have a good night. We are ATW. Have a good night, folks.
And we believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah, God, but forgive me, Lord. You figure right we do.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
And we had to go all out, including our outro. Good night, everybody.